Good morning from Los Angeles. Welcome to Trading with Sergio, Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We sure had an interesting weekend, didn't we? Well, it's still going on. So I have my thoughts about what's going on in the Middle East. Me being from the Middle East, well, at least was born there. Um, I'll have my 2 cents worth in what's going on. Um, so let me post actually the link if anybody wants to come on. I'd be glad to host you. But all right, good morning. What is going on? Well, we, as expected, probably we opened sharply lower and then we're reversed. We're back to green. I was ready to wear my red hat, then switch to the green hat. I don't know where we're going to end up, so I'll just wear my Barca hat, I thought, because it kind of matches my background as well. So, yeah, we started a massive air campaign in the Middle East, specifically Iran. And so, folks, for most of you who listen to the news media, it is not Iran, it is Iran. It is not Iraq, it's Iraq. At least pronounce it correctly. Although a lot of our politicians pronounce it incorrectly as well. And so everything that was related to defense and oil was pumped right at the open. And pretty much on all of them, that was the top tick. And everything related to retail, which would have negative effects on oil prices going up, consequently gas prices potentially going up, was sold off. They're still negative, but then the reversals in the oil sector, metal sector, has been pretty eye-opening actually. And more importantly, the treasuries are selling off, interest rates going up, dollar is getting stronger, a lot of mixed signals. If you went and jumped on defense stocks, you're probably negative already, unless you've been holding them for a while, because they've been doing fantastically well. And rotation is fierce, but then this rotation I don't think is going to last. Just like silver and gold prices reversed, went from positive to negative. And one other thing that caught my eye today that's happening is crypto. Crypto actually sold off when the first bomb started to fly, and then Bitcoin back to 7,000, 70,000. God forbid. I DCA'd somewhere this morning. Bitcoin back to 70,000 and Ethereum back to 2,000 or 2050 range. So this is the first time we're seeing sort of a decoupling, crypto not getting affected, and yeah, a lot's going on. And good morning, everyone. All right, Luis, good morning. Mike, good morning. William, wag the dog. You bet you, William. If you haven't seen that movie, I recommended it on my chat group. It's an older movie. It's probably 20 years old plus. Go check that movie out. Wag the Dog. It's a really interesting movie. It's just pretty accurate for what's going on right now in this day and age. So yeah, well, that was from That's a good point. That's a good point. We don't know where we're going to close, but the opening was certainly bloody. And then when I set up the live stream last night, I was like, okay, it's going to be a bloody Monday. And sure enough, things are reversing. Yeah. But exactly. It's Qatar, not Qatar. I mean, look, I do understand Americans pronouncing Iran because it's an I, right? Okay. But truthfully, it's Iran, and truthfully, it's Iraq. That's the way you should pronounce it, you know? I mean, you can't mess up the United States that much. But I don't blame the Americans. I don't think they have a clue. Actually, until George Bush Jr. went into Iraq, right, during Desert Storm, nobody even knew where these countries were, right? Look where we are now. Now we're just kind of glued to our news feeds, specifically on X, and you know, people are just glued, posting stuff right and left. And you know, having been born in, see, again, I was born in a country called Turkey. It's not Turkey, right? Not like the 20-pound turkey that we cook at Thanksgiving. It's Turkey. It's not Turkey. Although that's fine. You can still say Turkey, Republic of Turkey anyway. So I was born there. I know the Middle East really, really well, although I came here to go to college and stayed in the US legally. Became an American citizen, and I'm blessed to be in this country. And to be perfectly honest, this probably is the right time to take my hat off to our military. You got to respect the military. They go do the dirty work so we can do this, right? I mean, I respect it. I mean, I know a lot of people have different thoughts about it and opinions about this, what's going on specifically over the weekend. The bottom line is, does might make it right? So this is the political or politics or geopolitics part of the show. My opinion, you know, hopefully I don't get canceled. Again, as I said, I'm blessed to be in this country, blessed to be protected by the U.S. military, who risk their lives so we can have our freedoms, specifically the freedom of speech. And I'm not going to get into what's going on, you know, with the demonstrations, anti-war demonstrations. These people are fools, okay? But then whatever it is, that's not the point. So having been born in Turkey and having left the country when I was 13, 14, to go to high school in Germany, and then after graduating, coming here to go to college and going to Wall Street, right? It's been a whirlwind. But here's the thing. U.S. foreign policy in general over the last decades, this has nothing to do with Trump or Obama or Clinton or Carter, but let's go back to President Carter's days. All this started in those days. If you got to study history. How did this all start? Well, the American embassy was attacked and taken over, and at the time, Iran was ruled by a gentleman named Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, whose son actually now is in exile in France. And I'm hoping that we do not put him in charge, or if that's our goal, to regime change, I don't think we should do that. I think we should allow the people of Iran to decide who their leader should be. But then again, you know, geopolitics and politics. So Reza Pahlavi ran Iran with an iron fist. And then the mullahs, first of all, Iran is a 100% Muslim country. And if you do understand the religion of Muslim, there are two factors in it, right? There are Shias and there are Sunnis. So where I was born, Turkey is 99% Sunni. And where I'm born, where Iran is 99% Shia. And so the point I'm trying to make is, you have to understand the religion. You have to understand how many sects of religions there are, how many different people live in Iran. Iran is a big country. Iran is a country of 90+ million people. And I certainly do believe 95+% of Iranians are just like the US folks, US citizens. What I mean by that is all they want to do is go to work, go to school, raise family, put food on the table, live a peaceful life. Unfortunately, during the President Carter's administration, people had enough of the Shah, who was basically, truthfully, like Putin now in Russia. He had his people. All those people got rich, and you know, they sucked the oil revenue out of the country, just like happened in Venezuela, right? Just like happens in Russia, all the oligarchs coming around. So the mullahs, since it's a Shia country, mostly 99% Shia country, Shia Muslims are a little bit more religious than the Sunnis, but Muslim is Muslim. And so they got rid of the Shah, okay? And he was exiled, and they took over the U.S. Embassy, and the U.S. military at that time tried to rescue those folks, and it failed miserably, although obviously we didn't have the military power or the technology that we have today. And the mullahs took over, and the country became a very religious country, right? Because the rulers were mullahs. Mullahs meaning, basically, if you think of a priest in the U.S., well, that's the opposite of what it is in the Muslim religion. Mullahs ran the country with the iron fist, and Islam, which was the same thing, basically with Sharia law almost to the point, basically what the Shah of Iran was doing. And Shah of Iran, by the way, is not an angel, right? At his time, people were getting massacred as well, because whoever opposed to him was getting massacred. And just like the mullahs have been doing for the last 40 years, whoever opposes them is getting massacred. So connecting all this, going back to U.S. foreign policy. My wife was born in Iraq, by the way, and she's Armenian, obviously. But the U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East, in general, again, this is my opinion, has been nothing but creation of chaos and suffering of the average folks who live in these countries. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Again, this is history. I love history. I enjoy it. How many of you know that Osama bin Laden, who was the murderer of 3,000 Americans at 9/11, was our man during the war in Afghanistan, where we supported Osama and his mujahideens to kick the Russian army out of Afghanistan. We supported Osama bin Laden. How many of you know Saddam Hussein, who was a brutal dictator in Iraq for years, decades, was our man? We supported Saddam Hussein in the Iran-Iraq war because we didn't want Iran to take over the Middle East. How many of you know a lot of the dictators, drug lords in South America were our people, such as Allende in Chile, such as Noriega? They were all our people. We supported these people. But what happens to these people is that they get a little too big of a head, and they rule their country with an iron fist. And at some point, the U.S. gets involved and says, listen, buddy, we're either going to buy you or we're going to kill you. And most of them say, go F yourself, U.S. They F around and find out. So what do? We go in, we clean it up. We try to clean it up. But who suffers? The average folk in Iran. Iran is pummeled at the moment. Iraq, still, after trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives lost, where is Iraq today? It's as chaotic as it ever was. We did the same thing in Libya. We killed Gaddafi. How are the people in Libya doing? I'm talking to average people. I'm not talking to fanatics. Not that great. How about Syria? We kicked Assad out. He's in exile in Russia. How's Syria doing? Is it a peaceful country? Are we supposed to go introduce democracy to these folks who are used to living under a dictator? No. So I believe we have a failed Middle Eastern U.S. policy. We go create chaos, and I'm not saying what we're doing is not right, but I don't think we have a plan though. Is Iraq better off today than it was, especially the people in Iraq? Iraq is a country of 30 million people. Are they better off? We call them, we're giving them freedom, we're giving them democracy. Okay. But they don't have the infrastructure to support a democracy. They don't have what we have. They don't have the amendments, and they don't even have law in those countries. They don't have the structure to support a democracy. It's not like Israel, right? So we go try to introduce democracy and we call them, we're freeing these people. Sure. But then there is no infrastructure to support what we're putting in there. So we have to all understand this. And I feel for the Iranian people. I support our military. I support our administration for what they're doing. And was it, I mean, again, when we do clean this up, hopefully shortly, or close it up, I'm not sure country of Iran is going to be as easy as it was. Well, look at Iraq, look at Afghanistan, look at Libya, look at Syria, look at our success rate. Yes, we do go bomb. Yes, we do. A lot of average folk die. They're called collateral damage. You got to feel for these people, right? And yes, we are freeing them from a dictator. That part I get. But do we have a longer term plan to give these people what they truly want, which is freedom and the law and order? Well, they don't have the infrastructure to support that. Okay. Middle East is the most corrupt place on the planet. I'm sure there are a lot of countries that are corrupt, but South America specifically, but Middle East is, takes the cake too. So we're going bombing now. Okay. Whack the dog, by the way, is this a misdirection play? I'm not sure. Was it time to get rid of the mullahs? Maybe. But Iran is a much larger country than anything that we've undertaken so far. It's much larger. It's actually as larger than Libya, Iraq, and Syria put together. So this is it. That's what we do. We just go in, and when these people turn against us, who we supported, right? Like Osama and Saddam Hussein and the dictators and Assad and Gaddafi, we go kill them. Okay, fine. We remove them, and a new probably dictator will take over. My goal is to make you guys understand that what's the connection though, right? So how does this affect the American people? That's what live in this country. That's the important part. Okay. Initially, oil prices spike. Everything becomes more expensive. Maybe inflation will come back. It'll kick in. Is it long-term? I doubt it. Is it going to be short-term pain for long-term gain? I hope so. I hope so. But looking at the past results. So in all those countries that we went in and removed the dictators and the rulers of these countries, we created chaos for the people, for the average folk, right? And we have to now say, or ask the question, do we have in the Middle East, out of all the countries that we removed the heads of the state or the rulers of the country, do we have a successful plan, or have we implemented a successful plan in any of these countries? to me, it doesn't look like it being from there. I mean, I do talk quite a bit about my friends about this. Do I support the Americans going in and removing the mullahs? Yes. Because that is not a way to live for 88 to 95 million people. But what's going to happen, right? What is going to happen? What is the plan? Is our plan regime change? Because we're calling it a regime change. Okay, well, we probably have somebody in mind. And again, I'm hoping that it's not the old Shah's son who's in exile in France. Hopefully they'll hold elections in Iran, proper elections in Iran. They tried in Iraq, that didn't kind of work out. I mean, look what's happening in Afghanistan, right? We spent trillions of dollars and came out during Biden's time, which was wrong. And who's in charge in Afghanistan? The Taliban. We killed ISIS, who's kind of in charge in Syria now. Well, an ISIS type is. So I'm going like, we're doing this. I'm all for freedom. I'm all for introducing freedom to the Middle East. I'm all for democracy. But if you don't have the infrastructure, like it's building 1,000 homes and you don't have the plumbing done yet, or you don't have the sewage taken care of, or the electricity, it's not going to last, right? Going and flattening the country is easy. I mean, you just drop bomb after bomb after bomb. Okay, we kill all these people. Okay, well, are we going for the lesser of the two evils? Because in Iran, the Shah was evil, mullahs were evil. Who's the next guy now? So we don't have a good track record in the Middle East of removing dictators and leaders of these countries and what happens to the country. Because once you go in, it hits the news, right? It's all over the news, obviously. And then there's no follow-up. Like, have you ever seen a follow-up of how's Iraq doing? How are the people of Iraq doing after all the years of war and basically flattening the country? And how's Afghanistan doing? How's Libya doing? How's Syria doing? And now we're going to find out how Iran does. You know, nobody goes in and follows up and says, well, this is what we did. This is why we did it. Okay. I mean, you can come up with your own conclusions of why we're doing what we're doing in Iran at the moment. But how are the average folks doing, right? Because if we're removing the leadership, there's going to be a vacuum, obviously, until somebody, comes up. We did the same thing, right? In Venezuela, we just overnight, we went and took the guy from his bed and put him in jail in New York. How's Venezuelans doing? It seems like there is one a month now, right? So Maduro was the January flavor. It looks like the Mexican cartel boss was the February flavor. It looks like Khamenei in Iran is the March flavor. And who's next? Cuba? So my thing is, freedom is great, but then there should be, it shouldn't come at the cost of the average folks of these countries. Because again, I close it with, they're just like us. They want to have a family. They want to feed their kids. They want to go to work. That's all they want to do, just like the 95% of Americans. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So that was my Middle Eastern geopolitics segment of the show. I'll probably do a video about this myself, because I do understand it. All right. Good morning, everyone. Traveler William, commodities got hit hard. Yeah, I expected that. Actually, I put it in my chat. Somebody said gold and silver are going to zoom. I probably not. I think I'll probably reverse. What's going on? If any of you want to come on, please grab the link. I posted it. Let me post it again. We can talk about anything you guys want. Here's the link. I would love to hear some other folks' opinion about this. Again, I'm all for the U.S. military. I think think they're risking their lives so we can do this, right? And you may agree, you may disagree, but I do remember when I was very young and I wasn't even in this country. I do remember when the Vietnam War heroes came from Vietnam, and they were people were spitting in their faces, and that is bullshit. This because the people who go to war, just like all the young kids that went to war in Iraq and got blown up by, I mean, how many lives we lost in Iraq? About 8,000, 50,000 got maimed or lost limbs and came back. PTSD that they're dealing with. Look, folks, war is not a good thing, okay? And especially human suffering on both ends is immeasurable. So my point in all this is, if you're going to go to war, leave the place that you went to war for a better place. And I don't think U.S. has done that. Okay, I don't think U.S. has done that in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Libya, and now Iran. So I'm hoping maybe this time is different. But again, I support the U.S. military 100%. I think what we're doing is correct, but I would love to see a plan for the people of Iran, because the people who are suffering are the people of Iran. These mullah types are all getting blown up right and left. Okay, no problem. They're going meeting their 72 virgins up in the sky, but the people of Iran are going to suffer at the end of this. Okay, so my prayers are with our military, and especially the lives lost already, and the other side, obviously, because collateral damage, it said collateral damage is as accurate as a lot of our bombs are, laser guided missiles, Tomahawks. These are massive, massive, massive munitions, and when they do explode, there's going to be collateral damage, right? As strategic or as surgical as they may be, people are dying. So, all right. My green, I couldn't find my green hat, Doug. I was going to wear it. I couldn't find it. Hopefully I'll find it. Hopefully I'll find it. I like this one. Yeah. Yeah, this is more like, why can't we all get along, right? We can't, because might makes right. Yes, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Have you got to remember CIA in the 1950s before the Democratic Prime Minister? Yeah, I remember all that, right? But then, look, there is a the Shah of Iran was not Mother Teresa, okay? He massacred a lot of people who were opposing him. So, and the same thing happened in Iraq, by the way. After we supported Saddam Hussein, he was our guy for a decade during the war with Iran. And that's when my wife's family left Iraq, actually, because they had a younger brother and my brother-in-law who could have been taken into the military because they were running out of people. There were so many people dead in the Iran-Iraq war. And, we go into these countries without, I don't know, I mean, these are incredibly smart people, obviously, but, like we went to Iraq. There's Sunnis in Iraq, there's Shias in Iraq, there's Kurds in Iraq, there's Azeris in Iraq, and there's millions of people, different types of people. And you just can't go do what you're doing. I mean, you did, obviously, but then after trillions of dollars, all Americans' lives lost, all these poor kids coming back without legs and arms, PTSD the rest of their lives. Was it worth it? Because we did wag the dog and we said Iraq has WMDs. Bro, they're 9,000 miles away. If they had WMDs, they would have used it already. I never believed that. So, but then we go do the military complex. It's very strong in this country. We got to use those weapons that we're spending 700-800 billion a year for. And I'm hoping it's not just that. I'm hoping it's just not that. I'm hoping that the people of these countries are better off than they were before we went and cleaned this mess, cleaned it up, or me removed the leaders anyway. Yeah. So the president is bragging about, but Syria's president. Oh, we'll see. Well, Syria's guy was the smart guy. We told them the same thing, that we're either going to buy you or we'll kill you. You can go to Moscow or Russia and take your billions from the Swiss bank accounts, number Swiss bank accounts, because you plundered the country as well. You know, you can have your margarita at a Russian beach, or we kill you. And the guy goes, okay, fuck it, I'm leaving. He was the only one that left, by the way. Gaddafi did not leave, we killed him. Saddam did not leave, we killed him. Well, Khomeini in Iran did not leave, we killed them. You know, we kill people. We're good at it. And they should. They're horrible people. They should fucking die. I just worry about the people of the country, that's all. I don't get the context of that comment. You have to stand in the history? You mean understand? I understand all of that. And I mean, look, you know, most Americans are concerned about a 7-inch TV and the Super Bowl, you know? Okay, cool. I'm here through the grapevines at the spaces by sources that Turkey is next. Nope, that's never going to happen. Turkey's our ally. All the planes are flying over Turkey, actually. Actually, there's a huge American base called Incirlik base. I've been there in the southern part of Turkey. So if you guys don't understand this stuff, please don't put some stupid comments up there. You're not hearing anything. You don't know anything that we don't know. But, I mean, with all due respect, Turkey is not next now. Yeah, I mean, look, it's just, you know, we have a foreign policy, and under different administrations, there's different foreign policy, but the foreign policy should be protection of Americans all over the place, number one. But, you know, misdirection, like during the Iraq War, before we went into Iraq with 500,000 troops and all the power that we had, and then we left, and we left the country in horrible shape, number one. We didn't get the oil that we wanted. I mean, what are we doing all this for? What are we doing all this for, right? And some of you may say it's Israel, this and that, but I'm going like, look, it's just, what are we doing this for? Right? You can have your opinions about it. Nobody understands it, honestly. I mean, I try to put the tea leaves together and understand it. Absolutely, no, I agree 100%. It's not even, nah. If you say Turkey is next, then you have no idea what's going on in the Middle East. Zero. I can assure you that's not happening. Good morning, Mullah. The equivalent of Pope Syrian is, well, I think the Pope is, I don't know. What do I call that? A little bit more peaceful version, I guess. I mean, look, mullahs want Sharia law. You guys need to go Google Sharia law now. What's Sharia law? Okay, women have no rights. That's why they wear the hijab, but just their eyes showing. They can't work. And it's not about women. I mean, it's just men as well. It's just, Sharia law is the law of the Quran. And that's the same thing is happening in a lot of Muslim countries, although some more secular, such as, you know, some Muslims in Indonesia and Malaysia, they live differently. Look at I mean, Turkey is a Muslim country, 100% Muslim country, but 99% Sunni. Look at how secular Turkey is. I mean, if you guys see pictures of Turkey, it's nothing like Iran. It's not run by mullahs. Mullahs want religion first, and then everything else next. And I mean, every time you put religion first, you're going to have some issues. No, actually, Saddam was our guy. We supported him militarily in the 10 years of Iraq-Iran war because we didn't want Iran. And just like Osama bin Laden was our guy, we supported him with all the weapons and technology. With his 10,000 mujahideen, he kicked the Russians out of Afghanistan, folks. So, but we supported him until he turned on us, and then we go, okay. And then he did 9/11, and then we go, okay, we're going to fucking kill you. And then we did, thankfully. Yeah. What is the live about? Live is about finance and stocks, but then we're talking a little bit about geopolitics because I think it's current news. But then I'll get there in a minute, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, it's all our guys. That's an interesting comment right there. You mean the U.S. Central Bank, the Fed, and the Treasury? Oh, we're just going testing these weapons. I mean, some of these weapons are ridiculous, right? I'm like, psh, no chance. Iranian army has no chance, or Navy, or Air Force. Probably the dictator that we replace is better than the democracy that we're instituting. It sucks for the people, yeah, because look, these people are not used to democracy, right? I mean, they're used to dictators of 1,000 years. They're used to be ruled by an iron fist. Is it the right thing? Of course not. But when we do remove them and introduce democracy, and then you don't have the infrastructures to support a fledgling democracy, it's going to fail. Bad guys are going to take over again. That's what's happened in all those countries, right? So, please, yeah, that would be yeah, obviously it's going to be our guy, you know, but hopefully it's not the Shah type who's going to literally did what the mullahs are doing the other way, right? Just plundered the country, took all the oil revenue, billionaires got created, all his, you know, group. That's the history, folks. Believe it or not, that's what happened before the mullahs took over. Before the, you know, he wasn't a good guy. Trust me. Anyway, does it look like he was done? No. That's true, actually. I agree with that. Yeah. And I didn't say Israel was a democracy, but it's like Turkey is supposedly democratic as well, but it's not really. I mean, you know, that's a different story. Wag the dog, yeah. Well, now you're talking about Trump and politics, so I'm not going to listen to that. Yeah, okay. I keep pushing on YouTube on 60 minutes that France wants Barack Obama. Why do you guys come up with this shit? All right, last one. Put in this puppet. Hearing as William. Come on, William. Settle down. President Massoud, he'll be dead next. Okay, well, that's politics. That's U.S. politics. Okay, William, you're off the deep end. What about Putin? What about it? What about Putin? See, that's the best comment you put so far. Okay, can we do compromise with people that have different cultural, religious backgrounds and ways of life? Yes, that we should do. But then we can't because policy and politics in the U.S. is so polarized right now, and it's been going that direction, and I don't see anything like that happening for a while. Because look, the right is as fucking dumb as the left. I think the left is a little dumber. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into the U.S. politics thing, but I mean, the left is out of control completely. I'm a libertarian. I really don't care. You know, I just want the government out of my life. That's all I want. But yeah, it's a little too much. What's going on in this country? So, but that's different days, different story. All right, welcome to Trading with Sergio. We're done with politics and geopolitics. So, gold rally reversed, silver rally reversed, oil still kind of hanging in there. Everything related to defense skyrocketed in the morning, and the opening tick was the top tick. Everything sold off. Lockheed Martin. There was one stock that I watched called AeroVironment. Holy crap! It opened at 300. It's at 200. I mean, stuff is all over the place. I haven't even looked at what's going on. Market opened sharply red, reverse now. I don't know if it's still green. We're going to look at it together. Crypto was red, turned green, mixed signals all over the place. And luckily, I'm not one of those types on X that goes like, oh, market goes down, I have puts. Market goes up, I have calls. I'm like, no. I cut exposure on Friday, long exposure, and I had some put debit spreads going into today. I sold some in the morning, then I sold some looking at it. I go, well, they're going to turn this thing green because there's way too much buying pressure. So I sold those. Very little long exposure. I'm just waiting for the dust to settle. A lot of hotel stocks, airline stocks, auto stocks, anything to do with oil, specifically, obviously, gasoline prices going up. Consumer related stocks are all getting sold off at the moment, but then it seems like rotation is now happening every 6 hours as opposed to every 6 days. So we just got to follow it, go with the trend. Don't go against the trend. If you go against the trend and try to catch a falling knife, you're going to get hurt. But that's what I've been saying for all year on YouTube now. And so what do? Let's do some charts and go have a cup of coffee. So hopefully you guys can see this. All right. Well, actually, I want to put myself in the little window down here. How about that? Here we go. I just discovered that. It's crazy. Ooh. Actually, in my Robinhood account, I have some options I want to sell. Hold on a second, folks. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, folks. Hold on. Apologies. Where are they? Ooh, I think we're going to do it. Come on, man. Trade, sell, 10. Sell 10 at 65 cents. Can we? Nope. All right, well, if it goes higher, we'll sell it. We'll go through the positions too in a minute. Okay. Give me one more second. Let me sell these things. .75. Okay. Alrighty. Looks good. All right. What's going on today? All right. S&P 500, as you guys know, it gapped down. And let's go to the big charts. I'll post my positions. I don't have too many. I'll post my positions every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On the community page of the YouTube channel. If you're interested, this is not trading, financial, or investing advice. It's information and entertainment only. I have to say that. What I do is very risky. Don't follow me. Do your own due diligence. These are the positions, small positions, really. I added a couple. I took the put debit spreads off. Honestly, not much going on. Just I'm actually long 2x ETF, short, well, inverse ETF of silver, which is ZSL with a covered strangle. I'm long some Tesla options, and I'm short some put credit spreads on Tesla. I'm about 80% cash, waiting for the dust to settle to deploy. And I'm long BMNU, which is the 2x ETF of BMNR. Let's go look at charts. All right, so here we go. This is SPY. This is the daily chart. We're stuck in this trading range. Today we tested the lower end of the band, not the Bollinger Band, but we did that as well. So we're stuck between 675 and 697, or 671 and 697, to be perfectly honest. Right here, this is the tightest range we've had going back 3 years in the Bollinger Bands. If you do understand technicals, chopsticks, and Bollinger Bands, well, when they the move one way or the other is going to be epic. When I say epic, it'll be a quick 5-7% move either direction probably. But at the moment, there is indecision, and market's been dead sideways for 2 months. In fact, market's selling at the exact same price as it was selling in October of last year. So why is that happening? Because Mag 7 has stalled. If the Mag 7 doesn't move, SPY is not going to move, although what's holding SPY up, because a lot of the Mag 7, which I call the generals, they're getting shot. The soldiers are keeping the indexes up. Soldiers meaning the rest 490 stocks in the S&P 500. Metal stocks are doing well. Consumer cyclicals are doing well. Industrials are doing well. Base metals are doing well. So those are keeping the indexes up. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out how this is all going to end, because this will not go sideways the rest of the year, I can assure you. That's why people, a lot of traders are having a difficult time the first 2 months. They're just getting chopped up. Although, under the surface, a lot of things are moving 50, 60, 70%. And if they're moving against you, God help you. They may or may not come back, but I'm not going to catch falling knives. So I'm just keeping my powder dry and waiting. I trade what the market gives me. I'm not going to argue with the market. That's about it. So that's SPY. This is triple Q, same thing, kind of sideways, a little bit weaker because of the Mag 7. Apple, just in a trading range. Amazon, same thing. Actually, technically, they're just kind of broken down. Amazon and Microsoft, specifically in the Mag 7. Google is the best looking one at the moment. And Meta, same thing, just in trading range. I mean, Meta is selling at the same price it was selling at last May. Amazon is selling at the same price as it was selling, again, last May. Microsoft lower. Actually, Microsoft is almost at the April lows. NVIDIA reversed today from the 200 EMA. We'll see how long that lasts. Earnings obviously came out last Wednesday, and stocks sold off literally 20 points, 25 points. Massive selling, massive distribution going on, and today's volume is anemic. So the other thing I'm seeing on the SPX and SPY is that every day, red volume bar is a lot higher than every green bar. So meaning there's definitely distribution going on. And once this sideways thing is resolved, it's going to be a pretty quick, probably move up or down. I don't know which way, but I'm not dumb enough to guess it. I'm just going to wait until the market shows me the way, and then we'll press. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I don't have too many positions. I have some stocks that I'm looking to sell put credit spreads on. So the rotation that's going on today, like for example, a lot of the airlines, right? They're selling off, but I should have bought some love this morning, which is Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, retesting their 200 EMA. They're already bounced massively. United Airlines, a lot of cruise stocks are getting hurt, right? Because anything that has to do with the retail basically is getting hurt. American Eagle Outfitters, selling off a little bit, because oil prices going higher may mean higher inflation, may mean higher gas prices, may mean consumer spending comes back to earth or slows down a little bit, but then that will affect the general market conditions too. So TLT, which is the 10 ETF of inverse ETF of a 20-year bond, interest rates are going up a little bit today. The dollar index is also moving higher today, as you guys can see. This is 1 year, 1 day charts, folks, by the way. And what else is going on? Silver, big reversal on silver, or it was anyway. Where is it now? 80.29. Yeah, so this is SLV, the iShares Silver Trust. the largest one out there. We came up to the upper Bollinger Band. We came into a little bit of resistance. We're selling off, so we'll see. I think it's just going to go sideways in a wide trading range, SLV especially, between 65 and 85, or 65 and 82, let's say. That's a pretty wide range. Gold still up a little bit, but not as much as before. It was up over $100. Now it's up just a little bit. Gold looks stronger than silver, but then I think that's coming into resistance as well. A lot of gold stocks, silver stocks, just reversing today, such as Hecla and Pan American Silver and Majestic Silver and NUGT, which is the Direction, the daily gold miners 2x ETF that retested the high, just turned red. Again, a lot of mixed stuff going on, but more importantly, in all of this, crypto survived. It looks like this is IBIT. It's into resistance now, middle Bollinger Band and 20 EMA. Still going sideways. We may be doing one of these things right here, where we fell off the cliff last time. Are we just going to keep going sideways? MACD is negative, obviously. We're just kind of trading range, right? And we hit 60,000. We bounced to 70,000, back to 62,000, up to 69,000, back to 63,000. So, you know, crypto can make up its mind. At least it's not down for the people who hold crypto, or some of these DATs, digital asset treasury companies like BMNR. I think BMNR is up today. Yeah, BMNR is up 8%. Okay, cool. But this is Ethereum. If Ethereum is doing the same thing as Bitcoin, obviously, it's just going sideways into resistance now. Next resistance level is probably about 23 to 2400 in Ethereum. And definitely not out of the woods. Is today's rally to be sold? Well, if you're a technician, yes. If you're a long-term holder, no. But are we closer to a bottom? I don't know. Market will have to tell me that, because it does certainly look like it's just found some support, 1800. So we're in the 1800, 2200 trading range on Ethereum, and that's why BMNR is in a range as well. So pretty much that's what's going on. Stuff that I'm looking at, like RCL sold off sharp this morning. It bounced already. It's already 302. It got as low as bounce out 285. Holy crap, that's big. A lot of defense related stock like Ondas got up to 12 and change, now only up 60 cents at 1069. Lockheed Martin, it was up over $60, 692. You know, now 670. And this is the casualty of the day. AeroVironment, holy crap, high of 30 something, 302. And then Raymond James said from outperform to underperform, and that lingo, underperform is a sell. Holy crap, what a candle. $100 range on a $300 stock today. God bless. So just gotta hold your shit together, folks. When the market's this volatile, where is VIX today? But is it still up? So with the market being up, VIX is still up 7%. That's an interesting signal right there. So we'll see. We'll see where the market ends. It may still end up red. We'll see. So, but opening was pretty interesting. But every dip is being bought still. And at some point, right, the dip may or may not be bought, but hood reversed. It was down a little bit. That's consolidating, going sideways. Palantir is up because supposedly they're using a lot of their technology. You know, that's in its own little kind of a downtrend, coming into resistance at 200 EMA. I mean, a lot of things are just in their own little bear markets. And so my long-term part kicking ass, absolutely, just kicking ass. That's all I can say. I put a video up on Friday about that. Actually, the only one that I'm underwater is Lululemon. Actually, I'm thinking of switching out of Lulu to, and not yet, Novo Nordisk. I mean, that thing is in the world of hurt. down to 37. I would love to own some of that at 32. Netflix, Warner Brothers deal didn't happen, thankfully, for my sake anyway. I'm long Netflix, I'm long Google. I would love to buy some Google under 300 or add to it at some point. But I have a full position, but I'm talking trading wise. And Tesla, yeah, still down $1.30. I think it was green at some point. It's holding the 200 EMA tight, and we got to hold here. If Tesla doesn't hold here, it's going. It's going to 350 range. So we'll see. We'll just wait. Patience, man. Patience is the key. If you're not patient, you're gonna get pushed and pulled with every bit of news, and you're gonna go to the poorhouse. And we don't want to go to the poorhouse. We want to go where Shaw's money's at, Swiss bank accounts. Anyway, so that's where we are, folks. I'm not really doing much. I'm just watching. I mean, I have some cover calls on BM, and you have a strangle on ZSL, so I can't do much about it until, well, I shouldn't do anything until expiration in March. If you have any questions, post them up. AD&T is the only position that's a little bit underwater. I added today. I don't know if I did the right thing or not, but the market will tell me soon if I did the right thing or not. I do like that chart. Pulling back into support at 50 EMA after fantastic earnings. We'll see. We'll see if we find support. I think we will. What am I looking to do? What other stocks am I looking at? A bunch of them. Bunch of them in my AA. Bunch of them in my 52-week high lists. AMD is, hope, for AMD longs, hopefully. It's going to hold here in 200 EMA, but doesn't look that hot. Let's see. Lear, I'm waiting for the 200. Well, I mean, we're on the 50 EMA, so we'll see what happens there. Initially, I want to sell some put credit spreads on some of these. The rest is the rest, folks. Rest is the rest. What else is going on? Not much. Not much. Anyway, so I'm going to go to the front, answer some more questions, and then hopefully end the live. I'll be back on Wednesday, trading with Sergio, on Fridays. All right, no more questions. Okay. Fridays, power hour with Sergio. No questions? Nobody wants to come on? You guys all shy? Okay. No comments, no questions. Politics ended, the conversation ended. And then guy says, what's this channel about? I go, this is about the market, and then you're not here now. Anyway, I wish you all a good trading day. Let's see if the end of the day is a red hat or a green hat. I will find my green hat, Doug. We will have green one of these days. We're green at the moment. We'll see what happens. And yeah, keep your powder dry, folks. Patience, 3 Ps, patience, position size, and planning. If you don't have any of those, please don't be trading because you will blow an account without a question. Please don't listen to anybody on X, anybody, because they're fools, number one, because they're all disappeared now. Oh, sell put, sell calls. I'm like, okay, cool. And what else? Oh, today I have my article on my newsletter is about, is war in the Middle East good or bad for your portfolio? You should go check it out. It's a free newsletter. Please go sign up. It's at sergio@sergioavadian.com. It's a free newsletter. It comes out every Monday. There are some great articles in there because my goal going forward is financial freedom through financial literacy, and help me achieve that. So I appreciate the support. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, and spread the news that there's a guy with 30 years experience passing it on, or passing it forward, or paying it forward. That's all I want to do. I want to put correct information out there because there's a lot of fools out there who just kind of are misdirecting people or guiding people incorrectly, because everything that you do in the markets has risk. And these people make it sound like it's a no-brainer, it's no risk. Well, go tell that to the person that holds HIMS from $70 a share. So with that said, may all your longs skyrocket, may all your shorts tank. Love all of you. Hats off to the U.S. military. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for allowing us to do what we do in this country. And my prayers for the Iranian people in general. Hope and pray that this is over soon for you all, and you can go back to your lives, and you have freedoms that you can enjoy like we do in this country. And hopefully the powers to be do the right thing for you. And that's about it. So I will see you guys on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Have a great rest of your day.